Hi, Alan Schimmel here for DevOps.com's DevOps TV. We're at Does San Francisco, day one, and I'm happy to be joined by Chris Boorman of Automic. Chris, welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. Absolute pleasure to be here. What
Absolutely.
a great show.
It is. You know, I was talking with Gene earlier. We did a quick interview, Chris, and what he told me, what do I love about Does is the buzz. And it's palpable when you go out here, especially when there's a break-in sessions, and you can feel the excitement. And what makes that buzz, Chris, to me, is not the camaraderie, but the sharing of tribal experience, common experiences with your fellow DevOps devotees or whatever here. But of course, you guys, you're a mainstay at Does. I think the last time I interviewed was actually Does London.
It was indeed, and it's we were at Does London, which is a much smaller version than this one.
Well, it's the first one.
Small acorns,
From
big
acorns
oak trees,
grow mighty oaks.
and this one is a lot bigger than last year.
So here's the funny thing. I thought about that. It does seem to be. There's actually only about 200 people more here than last year's San Francisco event. The venue's different, so it seems a lot bigger, but from terms of head count, it's about surprised. 200 people more is what I've understood. Yes. But in any event, news with Automic, you guys just recently released, was it version 12?
Yep. We basically upgraded our system. We're actually now getting into continuous delivery of our own software, so we've gone through quite a big change in terms of our own engineering organization, because we were, I think, the classic waterfall ITIL, and we've now completely changed it using open source tools. Exactly. Eating our own dog food, open source tools for the developers, Scrum teams, basically fast delivery, using our own ARA product to pump things out into production. We now deliver our software into our own internal systems every 2 weeks into our ServiceNow, Salesforce.com environments in our own IT environment, which is a massive change to how it used to be.
Sure is. And Chris, has there been enough time to sort of measure the results of this, or the impact of it?
So the impact is in a couple of factors. One is, firstly, we are seeing the quality, because the developers are much more involved in their own testing and they're not just passing it over to a testing team. Quality is improved, which is always good from a customer point of view. We've also seen, when we released the product, a much larger percentage of people have actually been starting to use it immediately.
Really?
So we push stuff out into our own marketplace, which is where we have plugins, and they are basically being used much more frequently than ever before.
So you're seeing dividends almost immediately.
Absolutely.
That's a great story, because it's funny. I was talking to, I was actually speaking to the CEO of Zibia Labs earlier here in your chair, and one of the things I spoke to him about, the same dynamic here it does of a financial services company sitting with another financial services company who may be competitive, but sharing common experience. We see here it does again, another presentation where I think it's Northrop Grumman is doing a joint presentation with Lockheed Martin. I don't know how familiar you are with both these companies, but they're fierce competitors for government contracts, but yet they're presenting together about common shared DevOps experiences. I see the same thing with DevOps vendors at Doves, where, Zibia Labs may be a competitor, but there's, again, a shared common knowledge base.
I think right now we're on the cusp of something very significant, which is this whole digital transformation movement. It's about driving agility and speed. And clearly, we each have our own slight variations, but there is a massive movement, you see it here, that is actually driving and understanding how to basically build new applications, new mobile applications, new web-based applications to get closer to customers. And Zibia Labs, ourselves, we are there helping not only accelerate that DevOps movement, but also those new applications, they're connected to the back end. And the agility of the back end, whether it be the agility of the mainframe, the agility of the traditional systems, we now live in an unbelievably heterogeneous world, and
it's a great time to be alive in the IT space. I mean,
it is exciting.
There are things, I don't care whether you work on mainframes or you're working on, my Surface Pro here, or your phone or whatever it is. There is the power at our fingertips is just phenomenal.
And I think it's just going to get more and more profound when you start looking at what cloud vendors are doing, when you start looking at the Microsofts, the Googles, the Amazons, those technologies, those approaches. The challenge for enterprises, a lot of traditional enterprises, is how to tap into that world to bring to bear new capabilities. And that's the thing I think is so exciting, so certainly about the automation world, because we are in an automation world. And the operational teams who are driving a lot of the release to production, working with the DevOps teams, this is where automation is coming into its own, I think.
Yeah, and changing our world in so many ways. I don't even think we've thought really through what it's going to mean. But Chris, I want to talk a little bit more about Automic, if you don't mind. Like you're going to mind us talking about Automic. But so Chris, we look at Automic. It's not a startup. Automic's been around a while. Give our audience a little background. How did Automic become a DevOps company?
So. I would say we're not a DevOps company. Okay. We are a company that specializes in business automation. And our heritage has been working with enterprises in how you automate processes. So IT as a service, provisioning infrastructure out of your ServiceNow environment, or running automation across your Oracle applications or your data environments or your data warehousing. So we have a whole range of organizations. eBay uses us for orchestrating and automating their data warehouses. Netflix use us within their recommendation engines, and so forth. It's a natural jump from there to be able to take those characteristics that we've been providing to operational teams and helping them to scale the delivery of production code or code from development into production rapidly, fast, safely, with compliance, with rollback, whether you want to do blue, green, or whatever you're doing. It's been a natural progression for us to be able to say, here is an amazing automation engine, bringing it to bear on driving that scalability. So our message is, use whatever tools you want to. Use whatever development tools you want to. We can automate that pipeline, and we can orchestrate across all of the tools to allow you to actually take any number of Scrum teams from any geographic environment and scale it to production. Great. Pretty cool.
That is. Again, it's a cool time to be alive, Chris.
It is.
One last topic I wanted to broach with you, and that was last week. Automic, you did your own user conference here in the States in Orlando. And do you want to give our audience just what were your impressions of that?
Well, we were delighted. We had several hundred of our closest customers, large enterprises, who came along. We have a lot of universities in the US also use us from an automation perspective. We had great customer presentations. Our CEO, Todd DeLauter, gave a great keynote in terms of how the hybrid cloud is affecting how organizations basically look at IT. And also from a futures point of view, our CTO, John Purrier, talking about where is automation going? The role of intelligent automation, the ability of collecting data from across your environment and using that to intelligently change the way in which things work. The machine learning elements coming to, you're going to see a lot of that coming in the next few years. Certainly from an Automic point of view.
I think just from everyone. I mean, I think that's where the world is heading. It's going to be an interesting world.
It will be.
I think about the world our kids will grow up into, and so, I mean, look at the world we grew up in compared to what our parents did, right? I mean, our parents would look at some of the things we do. We were talking before about Siri and Echo, Amazon Alexa and stuff. Our parents would think we were talking to witches or something, or ghosts.
It's just stunning. Driverless cars. As you said, will we have a keyboard anymore?
I hope not. I hate typing. But, anyway,
thank you,
Chris. It's a pleasure to have you here with us again.
As always, it's a pleasure.
Looking forward to hearing more from Automic. Of course, we work with Automic pretty closely at DevOps.com, so we try to stay on top of what's going on. But thanks for appearing. I hope you enjoy the rest of Does.
Well, I must admit, it's so far it's going very well, and I must admit congratulations to yourself and also everybody involved in
with IT Revolution. Does a great job here.
They do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pleasure.
Okay, this is Chris Boorman from Automic. I'm Alan Schimmel from DevOps.com's DevOps TV here at Does San Francisco.